what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag.
Show them that swag. What you see is what you get. When I look in the mirror, I'm looking like a man. Like we playing tag bad, I'm the top pick. Show them what you're working with. Break the circuit, be a hit. Go ahead and make them sit. If you gotta hate it, then your purpose is equipped. Tell them catch you later, cause you serving up some grits. Meaning hot with the drip when I drop in the mix. The proof is in the pudding. Show them how you do it. They do it like they shouldn't. You don't need to brag, cause your competition couldn't. You don't need to boast, cause the proof is in the pudding. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who do not know, I am Stevie. I am a customer success manager here at PhotoDay. And today we're going to be going over creating a sense of urgency to bring early sales in when you're selling online. So I'm going to be going over the different ways that this can be done. And I'm going to be doing some live demos on our platform to show you how to set this stuff up in PhotoDay. So obviously, when you're selling online, customers have a bit more freedom when it comes to when they can place their order. They're doing it at their convenience, when they're at home, whenever they have free time. That is why creating a sense of urgency and building a strong strategy to do so is very, very important. So if you guys are just getting started, it's a great time to implement a strategy. Go ahead and get it put together and put it to work. If you guys are already using PhotoDay and you're kind of just piecing things together, you can use this webinar to figure out all the different options and make yourself a timeline. So let's get into it. All right, so it's all about FOMO. So the more you incentivize, the more you're going to sell. What photographers do is appealing to your customers' emotions when you're selling photos of their athletes, of their kindergartners and preschoolers. That's tugging at the heartstrings. And the fear of missing out on those moments is what is going to drive your customers to place their order. Nobody wants to miss out. Nobody wants to not be a part of the group if all the other parents are purchasing. So that being said, that is why it is so important to incentivize. You're going to want to get a strategy together that you're going to use with each job. I would recommend, maybe doing the same thing for every single job. Or if you have a couple different categories, you can have a strategy for each type. But you'll need to learn what you can do with the platform that you're using. So learn all the tools and abilities that you have with the platform. And then you can set up a strategy that makes the most sense for your specific jobs. And that ultimately promotes the desired customer behavior that you want. So you can lay it all out on a timeline. This is what I usually recommend, pre-publish, when you publish, and then at the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week mark and plus, and then stick to it season over season or year over year. That's going to get people, trained over time. If they don't take advantage of the incentives the first time, they're going to remember it the next time. And if you're doing it the same over and over again, that's going to create consistency and create trust. Customers are going to learn that you're giving the best deals the earliest. And that's the other point that I'll touch on a lot here. You want to give the best deals to the people who order the earliest so that you're rewarding, your best customers. And no offense to those who order late, but they should get on the ball. And you don't want to give benefits to late orderers. So the options I'm going to show you guys kind of demonstrate that. The early offers are, savings, and then it starts to turn into, we're getting rid of good pricing, we're getting rid of the photos or expiring the gallery, etc. So let's jump in. Okay, so I'm going to go over the first two incentive ideas, and then I'm going to demo them for you guys. The first two I'm going to go over, they encourage sales in the first few days after publishing. So this is going to help you collect your sales right when you publish, and it's going to train your customers to order early by default as you do the same thing over and over. So the first option is to give a free social sharing download in each package for the first 48 hours after the gallery is published. The great thing about this option is that you're not actually giving away a dollar amount, or you're not taking away from your bottom line by covering shipping or covering $5 off or whatever. You are giving a social sharing download, which really doesn't have any extra cost, especially if you don't up the price of the packages or whatever. There's no extra fee besides the PhotoDay fee for digital downloads. So this essentially has no cost to you. And then on top of that, it's giving your customers something they can share on social media, something they can receive automatically if they're, going to be waiting for prints. If their order is all prints, then they'll also get a cute little image that they can text to people or share on social media. And then that sharing on social media is obviously going to be seen by other parents, and that might encourage them to go ahead and place their order as well. So free marketing for you, essentially. Now, the way you'll set this up is by creating a copy of your price sheet. So you're going to have your regular price sheet. You'll create a copy of it. I'll show you guys how to do this. I'll just talk through it for now. And in the copy, you're going to want to add a social sharing download to each package. Now, I would also recommend using the package name and the package description to explain that there is a special item in there for the 48 hours. That way people will see it and they'll gravitate towards the packages. Then after the 48 hours is up, you're going to want to switch back to the original price sheet. Now, the other incentive idea for early sales right after publishing, is publishing the gallery with a time-sensitive offer. So you can also give a dollar amount, percentage off, or free shipping in the first few days after publishing if you're not going with the social sharing download option. So you can create an offer in PhotoDay, and then you'll actually be able to attach it to your job settings. And then the system is automatically going to show it as a banner in the gallery, and it's going to include it in the automatic messaging that goes out by text and by email that explains the offer and, how much they're saving, what they need to reach in order to get the offer, and also the expiration date. So the most important part here is creating the offer. And before you publish, say I'm publishing the 26th and I want to do a first 48-hour offer, I want to set the offer's expiration date for June 28th or 29th. So make sure you're corresponding those two things, the publish date and then the expiration for the offer, because the date will be listed in the communications. So we take care of that for you. That's the cool part about using the time-sensitive offer, is that you set it in the settings and then we take care of explaining it, and it creates a sense of urgency without you guys having to do anything else. So with all that being said, I am going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys how to set up those two things. All right. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. This is my demo account, so it's kind of like a ghost town. I don't really sell anything in here, but just to demonstrate. So first things first, I'm going to build an offer. This is what you want to do before you publish. If you're going to be offering a time-sensitive offer for the first few days after publishing. So you're going to create offers under the store tab and then under offers. So today I'll do $5 off. So that means we're going to the discount section, free shipping. That's where you go to create a free shipping offer, obviously. All right. So up here in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to click create a discount. I'm going to give the offer a name. So I would say if you're doing this, you're going to have to create an offer for each job because you're corresponding the publish date and the offer expiration. So I'll do Sunnyside baseball, fall, spring. Spring has passed, Stevie. First 48. Nobody's going to see this name. It's just for your reference, but it is helpful to, label it so that you understand what you created it for. Now, as far as offer code goes, you can put your own in here. Like I could do Sunnyside 48, or you could just generate one. They're not going to have to enter this code in for the most part if you attach it as a gallery promotion. So it's fine to just generate the code. That way you're not having to be creative every single time. As far as the discount goes, we'll do a fixed dollar amount. You can also do a percentage. I'm just going to do $5. Now on the next page, you have to set a minimum order dollar amount. I would recommend doing this just so you protect yourself. You know, if someone goes in and buys a $10 magnet, they're not going to take $5 off of their total. You kind of have to be careful because the remaining amount on the order total has to be enough to cover the lab costs and the fees when they check out. So you don't want to give a too huge offer with no minimum order amount. And then it might give them an error if there's not enough to cover the lab costs. So just a pro tip. And then offer expiration date. So the offer is valid until midnight of this day. So therefore, we're going to go with the 28th if I'm publishing today. Now, max redemptions, and I think it mentions this in the slide, you can also make it so only the first 15 people get it, only the first 50 people get it, whatever. That's just another way to drive people, you know, create a sense of urgency and drive people to go ahead and use the offer to beat the rest. So might be good to do an expiration and the max redemptions. I think the expiration is more important, you know, if you can either do one or both. I don't know if you would want to do just max redemptions, but that's up to you. And then you can also add free shipping. So if you turn that on, it's going to be giving them that dollar amount or percentage off plus free shipping. So I will not turn it on, but I am going to create it. Now we'll get that attached in the settings and I'll show you guys how it looks in the gallery. But let's talk about the 48-hour price sheets. So I'm jumping into the price sheets tab under store. This is where all my pricing lives. And just a warning, I have a ton of pricing. That's what I do all the time is create sample pricing. So sorry about that, but I'm going to be focusing on these 3 price sheets right here. So I'm using my Sports with Miller's price sheet. So this is my no social sharing download, like original price sheet. And I have them labeled so that it's easy when you're switching at each time frame, just name them something so that you remember which one is which. This is the best pricing. This is the, but without the 48-hour download in it. And then to make a copy of your price sheet and then add the 48-hour social sharing download to each package, go over here to the right and click this duplicate button. That's just going to make an exact copy. That can be helpful in a lot of ways. I mean, if you're going to create another version of your pricing, or if you want to, make each pricing sport or category specific, but you don't want to start from scratch every time, use that duplicate button. I think that's a great hack. And then just to show you what I am kind of talking about as far as packages go. So each one of my packages includes a social sharing download in there. And then in the original version of the price sheet, this is not included in the contents. And then you'll see I have a little tidbit that says includes a free social sharing download. And this is going to show in the cart right there on the previews of each package. So they'll be drawn to that. I put little emojis around it. If you guys don't have emojis in your price sheet names and descriptions, you should totally do that. I think it's cute. But yeah, so every package is going to have a social sharing download. And you'll just want to make sure that this price sheet is attached to your job before you publish. That being said, I'm going to jump into the jobs tab, and let's say we're doing both $5 off and the 48-hour social sharing download. So lots of savings. I'm going into the job, and then under settings, number 1, you'll see I have my 48-hour social sharing download attached. So that price sheet is already set up and on there. And then you're going to be in gallery promotions to attach that $5 off offer. So go into settings under gallery promotions and select the offer. So of course, once again, I have 200 things. Okay, so there you go. So get $5 off of $30 or more. I'm going to hit save. And you can just, if you're creating a timeline and if you're being consistent for each job you do, I feel like you'll get into the groove of doing this every single time. Just have a checklist for publishing, which is 48-hour price sheet attached and gallery promotion attached. So now, just to show you guys what this looks like from the customer's perspective, it will be detailed on the emails that go out. It's going to tell them that they can get $5 off of $30. until 6/28. It will also say that in the text message. But what's also going to happen is, and this is the gallery from the customer's perspective, it is going to show the offer as a banner. So it's going to let them know. And then once they're in their cart, it's actually going to allow them to just tack it on once they get into the last step of checkout. So it kind of encourages them. If they are under the $30 subtotal, it will, tell them they need to add $2 more or whatever to reach the offer. So it is in their face. And with mobile, we're definitely a mobile first checkout type of experience, which most people are using phones, definitely, according to our data and just according to the world that we live in. It's even more in their face. This is kind of more compact. But now, as far as the social sharing download goes, as you can see in the descriptions here, they'll be able to see it includes the free social sharing download for a limited time. So all of that. And okay, I think that is about it for my screen share. And I'm going to go back to my slides. All right, so we have some pretty sweet data here that we've pulled from a job that is running a 48-hour promotion. And you'll see there is a huge spike at the day 1 and 2 mark in orders. Clearly, it causes a surge right at the beginning. Now, what you'll learn when you're selling online, if you're just getting started, is that the sales cycle works a little differently. It's going to work over really 30 days is what we found. Some people, say a little bit more. It really depends on your strategy, but our automatic marketing goes out over 30 days. So if you want to, kind of create the same effect as when you used to collect orders on the day of, you can do an early promotion and it's going to, more concentrate your orders in the first few days. That way you're not waiting for them to trickle in as much. So, okay. Now let's get into the next 2 suggestions. So once you get to like the 1 or 2 week mark, it might be time to add in the next portion of your strategy. So we're no longer going to be encouraging the earliest orders. So it's not the ideal time to send out an offer for money off or like, an exclusive deal, because that should be at the very beginning. So we have 2 different like expiration options to create a sense of urgency for them to go ahead and get their orders in and get the best deal or before the gallery closes. So I'm going to cover those and then I'm going to screen share those with you guys. Now, first one is expiring your best pricing. So you can actually send out a reminder using our custom promos that is warning your customers that your pricing is going to increase in a week and then in a day. This is going to involve you switching to a more expensive or a more limited price sheet once the time is up. So sort of like the 48-hour price sheet switch. After the best pricing ends, you'll want to switch to your limited price sheet. I would say that some people just go into their price sheet and make a duplicate and then take away packages and bundle deals and digital bundles. And some people just mark everything up like 20%, 15% or whatever. So it's whatever you want to do. So on the slide here is an example of the custom series that we have that you can send out in the days before. So there's a 1-part one that just says like today is the last day. And then there's a 2-part that has just 1 more week and then just 1 more day. I would recommend placing this around the 2-week or 3-week mark. It's really important to understand how the automatic reminders go out. So with PhotoDay, texts go out on the day you publish, on day 3, 5, 7, 14, and 30. They stop if they purchase, but for those non-purchasers, they're going to, receive all the reminders of the series. I would say it's a good tip to put something like the best price series in between, in that pause of from 7 to 14 days or from 14 to 21 days. That way you're kind of making the most out of the time and dispersing it evenly. to catch people at all the right points. And then also there's just that you're not like being overbearing and sending like 3 texts in a row on a day. So I think that's just a good rule of thumb when you're creating your timeline. Let's see. And Gretchen, I always say that I try not to interact with the chat because like I could talk all day and sometimes I go off on tangents. But Gretchen, that is a great tip, is just to let people know ahead of time. Like when you're getting people to opt in, let them know, hey, make sure you opt in to the gallery so that you get information on the offers. Because if you're not opted in right when we publish, you're not going to be able to get the sale. You're not going to be notified. So I think that's a really good tip. Okay, and then expiring your galleries. So this is another option once you get into the tail end of the sales cycle. You know, once you get to the 30-day or over mark, I would say some people do a little earlier, but again, you know, you're paying attention to that series of texts over 30 days, letting that play out. I mean, some people only get paid once or twice a month, you know, so let the 30 days play out for whatever reason. They might only have spending money at that certain time. That's just what we've found through data. So, but yeah, expiring galleries is by far one of my favorite things to suggest. It's like the first thing I ask if people are like, you know, here's my job. I think I did good, but you know, any other suggestions? I'm like, are you expiring? Because it is super, super effective. It is one of the most effective ways to drive a surge of orders besides what you do right at the initial time of publish in the first 48 hours. So essentially, you can set an expiration date in the settings of the job, and that is going to send out text. It's going to send out a text and an email automatically when you do that to your customers, letting them know it is the last day to order. So one text will go out, one email will go out on the day of expiration, letting them know it is the last day just by setting the expiration date. You can also request an additional custom promo, which I'm going to show you guys in my screen share, that lets them know there's a week left. So if you want to double up, which I totally recommend, you can get that, hey, 1 week left before we expire text in there as well. I would recommend getting in the habit of expiring your jobs, like maybe at the end of the season. For instance, if you're doing spring jobs, maybe by the end of the school year or, you know, right at the end of the season, you go ahead and set the expiration date. Again, I would allow the 30 days. So maybe it's right at the 30 to 40 day mark that you start this. But yeah, choosing the time frame and sticking to it is really important. So like for spring, expire at the end of the spring season and before the next one comes up. Because if you're trying to expire, you know, if we get into fall and then you're trying to expire your spring jobs at the same time, it's going to be kind of, you know, you don't want to break their focus on the current season. You want to kind of get them into the habit of understanding that those jobs are going away before the next season starts. And then for fall, I always like to mention, you know, you might want to expire after the holidays, maybe when people regroup and their bank account actually has dollars in it that weren't used for Christmas presents. Some people expire before the holidays, like maybe mid-November. I would not do after that. You know, it's all up to you, but yeah, just be smart about it and then be consistent. You know, every single time you're setting your expiration dates, do it consistently so people know what to expect. And eventually they're going to be trained to go ahead and get their orders in. Now, expiring doesn't mean that like there's no chance for you to reopen the gallery and let customers order again. You do have the freedom to reopen it. It's not going to send any notifications out for the most part, as long as you're past the 30 days of automatic text. It's just going to be kind of a quiet reopening. And if people come to you and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't place my order, you can, you know, make them feel good and be like, hey, I will reopen it for you. Absolutely. Studios also put their expired pricing on the gallery after it closes as well. So again, they can place their orders, but there's no packages or, you know, everything's 20% higher. All those things are going to contribute to people not waiting that long again. But I do hear a ton of success from studios whenever they hit that expiring time every year. It's kind of like the end of most people's busy season. And, it's a really good way to round out your sales in each job and make another good little chunk of money even after your season is ended. So people will place, second orders. People don't want to miss out. People really respond to you telling them that is their last chance to order. That day of expiration text will produce the most activity. So, this just really rounds out the entire strategy where you're rewarding your customers who purchase the earliest, and then it gets more and more limited as time goes on. I think that's what I find to be the smartest when you're creating your strategy. Like, if you don't create a strategy, you're going to end up wanting to send out a 50% off offer, like, instead of expiring like 3 months later, which, some people do, but you want to reward good behavior, not teach people that they can wait. And the longer they wait, eventually they'll get an offer. So that's kind of how I feel. But yeah, I touched on that, but wait till 30 days if you can stand it, and then expire after that point so that the full marketing series plays out. In general, before you get started and as you're creating your strategy, I think on the timeline, it's good to know what automatic messages are going out and add those to your timeline first, and then place your stuff alongside that. So that way you understand what's going out, you're not overlapping, etc. I'll repeat myself all day. Reward your earliest buyers. Oh yeah, I'm going to screen share now. That's what I'm going to do. So give me 1 second. All right. Hopefully y'all can see everything. Let's start with best pricing. So again, back in the store tab, under price sheets, I have my different versions. So I have my base price sheet is no social sharing download, but it is, it's technically the best pricing because it's the first 2 or 3 week pricing. And then I have expired pricing, which I can put once I send out the best price series, and that, plays out, switch to this price sheet. And then again, if you publish the job and you reopen it, you can have your expired pricing on there as well. And I've just taken the package off in this example. And then I only have a la carte items at the $20 mark. And that is, in my original one, I have a $31 package, 42, whatever. And then the a la carte items are significantly cheaper. So you can see how I chose to set up the sample expired pricing, but everyone's different. Let's see. So make sure that you're double checking. Of course, in our example, the 48-hour pricing is over with. So I'll have my no social sharing download price sheet on there. And then let's talk about custom promos. So under the store tab again, under promos, and then under custom, here is where you can request text to go out. I'll show you guys kind of what we have. We have flash sale, urgency series. That's going to be expiring the job. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. I'm jumping ahead. We're talking about best price series. So there's either the 2-part, that's going to be 1 week left and 1 day left. And then the single, I think it just says there are X amount of days and it bases off of the date you choose. So you select the promo, we'll do best price series. You'll select the audience. So you can send it to everybody or just those who haven't ordered. And then you can select from your list of jobs. And then at the bottom, it's going to ask you to choose the start date. So this would be the 30-day mark if we're using the 2 text series. And then it's going to show you what sends out. So hurry and save just 1 more week to get the best prices. And it will show you the dates and all that. And then you just hit create. That's going to send to our team and we will approve it. You cannot request text the same day. It has to be next day, but we'll approve it and then it will be set to go out. So again, if you're placing or if you're piecing together your strategy, you can kind of request these in advance and, you don't have to do it like right the day before. Go ahead and, map all your jobs out, figure out what dates you need to have what go out what, and do it in bulk. It's really easy to do so in the custom promos tab. So yeah. Of course, at the end of the best price series, you're going to go back into your job settings and you're going to switch to expired pricing. And then let's talk about the expiration date. So when you're initially setting up your job, and it asks you to do the first step, sorry, I'm clicking everywhere. Don't click, Stevie, don't click. So the first step of setting up your gallery is going to be setting up the gallery access. So all the way back when you first build the job, it's going to bring you to this tab. And down here at the bottom is where you can set the expiration date. I always like to tell people when I'm walking through PhotoDay for the first time with them, you don't want to be hasty with setting your expiration date. Like I said, a text goes out on this day. So if you set it for, 2 weeks in advance, and then you end up taking a week to get your photos out, then you probably don't want to expire yet. That being said, you can set it if you're sure about when you're going to have pictures ready, based on when the date of the shoot is. Or if you have like a end of season, end of year date for every job, you can go ahead and set it in the settings, but otherwise just come in here and set it once you know how much time since published you want to expire. But you set this date here. It's flexible. You can change it. You can take it off, extend it, whatever, but I'm going to hit save. And that is going to send out a text on this day and an email to your opt-ins or to your private gallery emails that lets them know it's the last day. To add the 1 week left before expiration, we're going to go back to the custom promos section. So under store, under promos again, and I'm going to request an urgency series. So just so you guys know, the urgency series 2-part, I think this one has the 1 week and today is the last day text. So don't use this one unless you aren't setting an expiration date in actuality, for whatever reason. If you're not setting an expiration date, you can use this one to still have the 2 days send out. But otherwise, use the urgency series single to add on an extra text, and then select your jobs, and then your date will want to be 1 week out from expiration, and it's going to tell them 1 more week. So yeah, I think that's a great thing to incorporate into your strategy. If you guys have not, if you're already using PhotoDay and you haven't put a schedule to expiring your jobs, maybe it's a good time right now to expire your spring jobs and get ready for fall to do the same thing. You can start the habit now. It's never too late. Okay, I think that is it for those two. And we're going to jump into the next. Sorry. Every time my face is big, I'm like, okay. Alrighty, so a couple more options for creating a sense of urgency. So you can offer bulk shipping with Miller's Lab. Now, this is only going to be available with private galleries and only with Miller's Lab. So keep that in mind. If you're going to set up bulk shipping for a group or public job and it's not showing up, that's why. Now, this is another way to create a sense of urgency to get orders in before the bulk shipment date ends. It does give your customers free shipping without you having to cover the cost. So that is a benefit. If you have jobs where the organization is used to just receiving a box of orders, you can, bulk shipping is a good option if you can use private galleries for those. And then on top of that, if your customers are not used to paying shipping in general and you really don't want to, take the $5.95 out of each of your orders by giving the free shipping offer, then maybe bulk shipping is the right choice for you. And then on top of that, it creates a sense of urgency. So the way it's set up is you have to choose a processing date. I would give customers a decent amount of time, nothing too long. I don't think you can set it past 30 days from publish. Maybe 2 weeks is a sweet spot. But you'll set the processing date. That's the last day they can place an order and it will be included in the bulk shipment. You're also going to set the address it goes to. You're going to set how the orders are organized. It's going to be organized using the data that you upload for private galleries, which is why it's only available with private galleries, because we need that data to to properly group the orders. And then you're also going to be able to add a note in there. So the address that you enter is not going to show to your customers. Therefore, it's a good idea to explain where they're going to get, when they can expect their order to be delivered. So like, pictures will be given to you by your coach at the last practice or whatever. So number one, in the automatic messaging, both by text and email, it is going to explain the bulk shipment date. So it'll tell them, just like the gallery promotion, it's going to tell them order by X date and have your order shipped to the organization, get free shipping. So yeah, it does start with creating a Miller's price sheet and then having it be either bulk shipping only or bulk and drop shipping type. So when you're using Miller's, you can set the shipping type as bulk or bulk and drop, just to break those two things down. So I would say, so number one, keep in mind that there is a $15 minimum order amount, and that is for the lab cost of the order. So your bulk shipment has to equal $15 in lab cost in order to be free shipping for you. Now, if it doesn't, you just have to pay the difference. It's never going to be, anything crazy, but, in order to get that free shipping, number one, it's important to set a date that's far enough out that you make that lab cost. And then number two, might be a good reason to offer bulk shipping only. If you want a surefire way to make sure that you're going to hit it, you can use bulk shipping only, and only give people the option to bulk ship their order. I know also, some jobs might the organization might not want people to drop ship their order for the most part. And maybe that's a reason to use bulk only. I think the benefit for using bulk or drop is that people have the option. I mean, it's an online world. A lot of people are shopping online. People are used to getting stuff delivered right to their door. Maybe people plan on moving, won't make it to the end of the season, or they fall off towards the end of the sports season, or, they're moving at the end of the school year, whatever that might be, or they don't want their kid to bring the pictures home in the backpack. Using bulk and drop is going to give them the option to either pay for shipping and have it drop shipped to them, or, include it in the bulk shipment for free. And I like them having the option because of all those reasons. Why not? But of course, every job is different. The other benefit for using bulk and drop is that at the end of the processing date, if you have a bulk and drop price sheet, the job is not going to expire. It's just going to go to drop shipping only. It's going to keep that price sheet that you have attached on there. And it's no longer going to have the bulk shipping option. So that's a little bit more hands off for you as a studio. If you're doing bulk shipping only, once the processing date hits, the job becomes expired, so to speak, and you have to add a drop shipping price sheet on and then republish it for it to be active. So if you don't want that disruption at all, then go bulk or drop. That's another big reason to go with that. Okay, so one more, making it a fundraiser. So I know a lot of you guys may have organizations that you are giving a commission back to, or you're giving back to in some way. Of course, that's always fun. This option is going to allow you to use that to your advantage. If you're doing it already, I definitely recommend, communicating that to your customers in a positive way, like, purchase by X date and contribute to giving back to your organization. And this is going to create a sense of urgency as well. So you can use it to your advantage. This is going to be under custom promos as well. So you can set up the fundraiser custom promo and just correspond it with the date that, the last day that you're going to consider those sales for the commission. So I would choose a date, like for instance, if it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, all orders placed in the first 3 weeks are going to be what I base my commission off of, and then set the fundraiser series to go out in that time frame. So it basically just says, help support your organization and order by X date to participate in the Picture Day fundraiser. And then another one will go out that says today is the last day. I really like this one. I think this is a creative idea. Of course, there's mixed feelings about having to give commissions back, and this is just a good way to make it positive and to use it to your advantage. So. And then here are some results for the 2-week deadline. I know you guys saw the 48-hour deadline graph of results from a job. This is interesting. And I think, this would be the case with bulk shipping, with best pricing, with fundraisers. You're going to see that spike right there at the 14-day mark. Most of those, whether you do best pricing and fundraising, that's going to have today is the last day. And then also with bulk shipping on the day that it ends, no matter when it falls on the automatic series, I think they get a text that says today is the last day. And that's encouraging people to go ahead and get their order in. Again, the 1-week texts are really effective. But I would say that the today is the last day. That's like when people are, ready to go. So make sure you make that text count and put it the right time, the right day of the week, whatever. So. Okay, guys. I think that wraps it up. That was really the quickest webinar I've ever done. Now, I didn't mention, but I'm going to go ahead and cover questions at this point. So let's get into those. So number 1, can we set the price list to automatically update after the 48 hours? So as of right now, you cannot. It is manual at this point, but stay tuned. I do believe that, we'll add something that remedies that soon. So yeah. Is there a reason the week left one isn't automatic? That's a great question. I think there's probably not a reason why it's not automatic. Maybe, we try to keep the amount of automatic texts that go out to a minimum for the most part, keep it clean. But I think it was just mostly that we added the expiration day text, like at some point when we were, adding things, but we didn't add the full series. I think that's a good idea, or at least giving you the option to choose if you just want the 1 week and the today is the last day text to go out. Also keep in mind, that's just with text messages, the custom promos. I might not have explained that. With email marketing, you guys might want to take a look, because the expiration date series for emails is, I think it's a week, 3 days, and the day of. Of course, with emails, it's a little less sensitive as far as how frequently you can send. So I think that's why we have that series set up automatically to be like over a week. And that is toggled on automatically in each of your job settings. But yeah, that is a great point. If you want to request that, or if you want to request the automatic update of the price sheet, you guys should definitely go to our support chat and just send us a little blurb with that same thing so we can get it submitted to the right channels. If you guys ever have requests, please come into the bubble and send us your feedback. That is how we properly submit it to the product team. So. Okay, does the automatic campaign before expiration go to everyone or just to those that didn't order yet? So I believe the today is the last day expiration text only goes to those who have not ordered. So the automatic text message that goes out just when you set up the job's expiration is only going to people who have not yet made a purchase. I think that's just because, if by default, we say that the automatic text messages only go out to those who haven't purchased. So we kind of had to stay within those same lines for the expiration text that we send automatically. Now, that being said, with custom promos, you have the option to choose. So you can choose to either send to all customers or just those who have not yet ordered. If you want to send it to everybody, then I would recommend just using the urgency series separately. So. Now, let's see. The promo series are not templates. We need to create our own. So the promo series are templates. The custom promos are going to be templates, and we just plug in the job name and plug in the dates that you set. Or if the custom promo includes an offer, then we plug in the offer details. We do already have the actual text messages themselves written out because we need to stay within a character limit. We need to make sure it's short and sweet, and that it doesn't kind of tarnish our short code, by sending like 10 paragraphs. So we already have those set up for you. If there's something that you don't see that you want, be sure to submit that to us in the bubble, but they are templates. So that way you guys don't have to like type everything out every time. We've already created the marketing lingo for you. Okay, bulk shipping versus free shipping. Okay, so this is a good question. Number one, so I think that the beauty of PhotoDay, especially like, I started years and years and years ago, and I came from a studio that used paper forms beforehand, and that everything was bulk shipping. Like there's maybe like one job out of the 100 they did that they would drop ship, right? And people had to pay shipping. So I think the beauty of PhotoDay and the selling point for selling online is that it takes that away. It takes that stress away. You don't have to deliver the orders to the organization. You don't have to ship a box or go drive to the Little League or the school and drop it off. It gets shipped right to your customers at their convenience. They, they get tracking and stuff like that. I think the bulk shipping is great. I'm going to explain the benefits and why I think it's amazing. But in general, I think that the drop shipping is kind of like the very essence of switching to online. It's taking some more of that off your plate. Also, I know, coaches are not always, coaches aren't the best at passing out pictures. Kids at school, if they get the order at school and then they go in their backpack in the bus and throw their backpack around, the pictures are like accordioned in the bottom. I think all of those are reasons why, it's good to move away from that sort of thing, or customers saying they didn't get their order, but it's in the coach's trunk, things like that, or they don't go to the end of the season awards ceremony and they don't get their order. That's reasons why bulk shipping is, it's a little old school, but it's great. Now, if you need to give free shipping, if you think that the organization is concerned about each individual parent paying for shipping, or if you think parents are going to have a lot to say about it, it's not something they're used to, and you're not wanting to work that shipping cost into all your prices and give everybody free shipping, or just give everybody free shipping, then bulk shipping might be a good option for you. Of course, there's kind of a checklist that will tell you if your job is suitable for bulk shipping. Number one, is it going to work for all the orders to be delivered to one place? Are you doing it early enough in the school year or the season? Number two, are you going to be able to do a private gallery and get the data? Little things like that. So I would say it's circumstantial whether it's better, but then if you do use bulk shipping, number one, the lab costs are they're very affordable. I know that Miller's kind of gave a different pricing for orders that are bulk shipments. So, if you want to save a little on lab costs, bulk shipping is a good way to do that. And then again, it creates a sense of urgency. So that's a great way to do that without taking any money out of your pocket, and then free shipping for your customers. So it really just depends on the job. But yeah, now, hold on. I don't remember what I was going to say, but in general, free shipping is good, especially if you offer, if you set a minimum order amount, so they have to order $50 or whatever, that might just encourage people to order more. And then some people order only digital, so they don't even end up using it. It really just depends. Okay, guys, as usual, I could literally talk about all this stuff all day. Let me check the chats. Yes. Areas with PO boxes, or where there's a bunch of like really new construction, people have issues receiving stuff, or, I know the, shipping in general is just kind of in a weird place in the world. So if you want to create, a little security around that stuff, bulk shipping is a great option. Let's see. Okay, so the buy all digitals, if you have the team photos turned off, then it's kind of unclear that, yeah, that makes total sense, David. Please be sure to pass that in the bubble so that we can submit that. Of course, we will make a lot of changes to this, and I do think it would be a good idea to add, that it's only for eligible images. So that makes total sense. If you guys aren't using Buy All Digitals, definitely do it. It's like just a few clicks. And I think it is doing wonders for people, to sell more digitals and to boost their average order. So that is a different story for a different day. I thank you guys so much for being here. Just so you guys know, if you do not already, this is the cost of PhotoDay, and we only get paid when you get paid. So our entire team is there to back you. Be sure to hit up our support chat. We call it the bubble. We're all real people in there, not a whole lot of bots going on, and we have experience. We can help you guys out with any questions you have. If you're just getting started, you can schedule an onboarding with our team. You might get me or one of our other CSMs, and we'll walk you through everything. And if you are already using us, but you just want to figure out what you can be including, please schedule a call with us. If you want help building a strategy and writing out that timeline, that's my forte. So we would be happy to help you guys with all of that. But yeah, be sure to tune in for the next webinar. It's going to be a good one. And thank you guys so much for sticking on with me. Have a great Thursday. It's not Tuesday, it's Thursday.